Thank you, Richard. Thank you, everybody. Great to see you all here tonight in this esteemed venue. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege for me to be amongst you all this evening in this milestone event in the National Pharmacy Association's history. I have the fortune to chair the association in the year we celebrate our centenary. We're honoured to have with us this evening Secretary of State for Health and Social Care, Right Honourable Secretary, MP, Minister. We're delighted that you've chosen to be with us in this historic moment. Thank you for your support. We really appreciate it. The first NPA Chair, 100 years ago, John W. Deakin, was known for his progressive outlook on pharmacy and its place in the healthcare system. Yet surely, even he would not have foreseen what today's pharmacists are doing to keep people well and stay lives. What would he have made of pharmacy-based vaccinations, pharmacists prescribing, healthy living champions, dispensing robots, electronic prescriptions, video consultations, going on, big list, GP referrals, point-of-care tests in pharmacies? Potentially game-changing technologies like pharmacogenomics will soon be in play too. Thank you. It's our duty now to help drive community pharmacy even further forward, to help it continue its evolution as a patient-facing health and wellbeing service, to meet the ever-changing needs of the population and to secure the sector's position as the front door to the NHS. The future is clinical. It's going to be about integrated, patient-facing and community-based services, married to medicine supply. And good luck to anyone who thinks they can outflank Amazon on supply alone. But by playing to our strengths as independent pharmacies, we can grow together as the beating heart of community-based healthcare in the UK. The future also demands that we move swiftly to adopt new technologies in our pharmacy businesses and practice. Tech changes everything. Think demos, Kodak, videotapes, cassettes. You can see how the world moves on and sweeps old certainties away. At the same time, there are certain enduring values that people cherish. For example, we know from our own surveys that 80% of people say it's important to have face-to-face contact with their pharmacist. Face-to-face is what it's all about for us. Community pharmacies face-to-face, no appointment necessary offering, is something to prize, and we must never lose the human touch in healthcare. Something that vividly illustrates this is a story I heard from the NPA's Vice Chair, Nick Kerr. A woman spoke to him about a possibly effective big tech. Visual, emotional cues led to further discussion, and it turned out that she was a new mum, and her mother was also very ill. She was actually referred and diagnosed with postnatal depression. I have a story from my own pharmacy, and one of my then managers, who's subsequently now gone to a primary care network role. In his role in my pharmacy, we had GP surgery upstairs, and he was referred down for some paracetamol. Lady came down, it was summer, she was wearing a fairly thin dress, and he said, "You're good for you, obviously, that's what GP sent down for. You've got this rash on your arm." She hadn't noticed this rash on her arm. So he said, "Well, I just want to try something. You've got a glass out, any of you know this. He rolled the glass over the rash, and it didn't disappear. That, ladies and gentlemen, as many of you know, is one of the symptoms of viral meningitis. she had viral meningitis. He said, go straight to A&E. He saved her life. So, you know, I just think the work that is replicated by all of our community pharmacists out there are doing stuff every day. I'm sure that the NPA members here will have your own such stories about the personal care you've given and white, and it's so important to see the whites of people's eyes at the point of care. That face-to-face is vital. Secretary of State, one of your very first speeches as Health Secretary, you said you had 3 priorities. COVID, recovery, tackling the backlog, and reform of the health and social care systems for the long term. We can help deliver on this. And having stepped up to save a million lives during the pandemic, pharmacies can now become a backlog-busting centrepiece of the NHS's recovery from COVID-19. Community pharmacy works. It has served people conveniently and effectively for generations, and is now relied upon more than ever as the experience of the pandemic has so clearly shown. The sector has stepped up every challenge put before it over these traumatic 2 years. This year's record number of flu jabs is just the latest proof of our capability and responsiveness. Pharmacies are actually on track to deliver over 4 million flu jabs this winter. What's more, we've made an astounding contribution to the COVID vaccination programme, with over 15 million jabs delivered, including more than 2 million boosters so far. All this while safely supplying vital medicines and providing expert advice close to where people live, work and shop. So let's be bold with our offer to patients and the nation at large. We can dramatically improve access to healthcare, face-to-face and close to home. For the treatment of minor ailments such as skin rashes, eye infections and earache, no one should have to wait to see a doctor. Instead, there should be far fewer limitations on the range of NHS treatments that the local pharmacists are able to supply, without the patient needing to go to a GP. There are already 11,000 independent prescribers out there, and we want patients to be able to access an independent prescriber in every community pharmacy, easing the pressure on our GP clinics. In relation to the routine management of medicines for stable long-term conditions, people should be fully supported in their local pharmacy to understand, review, and if necessary, modify medicines. For example, it's good to see that NHS England is piloting a service by which people can be seen by their pharmacist for their ongoing routine or contraception. People in all parts of the country should have an option to access health checks at local pharmacies. Not just blood pressure, but weight management linked to diabetes, extended smoking services, hepatitis C, test and treat, plus a range of vaccines like shingles, pneumococcal and more. Many of those being done already. And some of you in this room are actually doing that now. Widespread use of community pharmacy to identify disease early through point-of-care testing, for example, cancers and heart disease, and improving their health using digital aids like Fitbits would limit future pressures on the NHS. In this way, we can make more use of the skills of pharmacy teams and free up millions of GP and hospital appointments, busting that backlog. Potentially well over 20 million appointments a year. Provided there is sufficient and sustained support from government and health service stakeholders, pharmacies can help get the country through the pandemic, help the NHS catch up on the lost ground, and be a foundation stone for better care in the future. Let us move forward at pace. Many things we offered to the NHS in the past took far too long to materialise as commissioned services. Flu vaccination is a good example of that. We said we could do it, we set out to do it, we proved we can do it. But we all know the current levels of funding in England cannot possibly sustain the service developments we could otherwise deliver. How can it make sense that NHS investment in GP pharmacists and PCN pharmacists has increased while investment in community pharmacy, a vital patient-facing clinical asset, has gone into reverse? This needs to be addressed urgently if we are to power forward with our can-do agenda for improving patient care and tackling the NHS backlog. Several current factors driving change in health services suit independent pharmacies if we're bold enough to grasp those opportunities. NHS planning is going local. Think integrated care systems and the billions of pounds of provision commissioned locally. Independents are by their very nature responsive to local need and certainly better positioned than the national chains in this arena. I was actually called by the strategic group on my ICS in Gloucestershire, and they want me part of that, and I think many of you in the room tonight, you should look to your local ICS structures, some of them are forming now in advance. Make yourself known now to those structures. Funding is moving slowly at the moment, but irreversibly, to clinical services rather than prescription volume. Independents are innately strong in the clinical space. As patient-focused providers, we're used to going the extra mile to deliver excellent care. The third driver is the health system's need to innovate in the wake of the pandemic, to escape from the long shadow of COVID as soon as possible. Innovation is another characteristic rightly associated with independence. The move to run more than half the country's pharmacy-based vaccination sites is a testament to the innate ability to adapt and innovate. Our future success also requires a long-term strategic planning. We see pharmacy in Scotland. The ethos of partnerships are fundamental in Wales, resilience of pharmacies in Northern Ireland, and continued growth in political support that we've seen in England and across the UK as a whole. It won't be easy, but it's doable. We are a can-do profession, a can-do vision for the future. As we move forward, it'll be on the basis of considerable public support, with 81% holding a favourable view of pharmacists, community pharmacists, according to an NPA Commission poll. So let's do more than embrace change. Let's invite it, let's shape it together. Some things will always stay the same, I hope. I hope that community pharmacy will always be fundamentally about people's health, not just their medicines. I hope that the community in community pharmacy will be always more than just a word. I hope that patients will always be justified in putting their trust in us as pharmacists and their pharmacy teams, because we maintain high standards of professionalism and care. Finally, I hope and believe the NPA and many of our many dedicated members are there to see it all happen and to be at the heart of the action for at least the next 20 years. Thank you.